Welcome to Wrestling Ropes. Today we are gonna have a long podcast, probably longer than the one that I did about a week ago about The Rock. Today I have a friend here that loves wrestling. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I will. What up, y'all? It's your boy, Moss, and today we are excited to talk about wrestling.
Right? And we're just two guys that just love wrestling, and we can talk about how we met, but that probably we can leave that to another podcast, another another one that we record. But today we mainly want to talk about the main events at WrestleMania, and that is with an S, right? Right, Moss?
Right.
Because we first have the the real main event, which is Cody and Roman, and we know the drama that has. Then we have a main event on night one that now it became the number one main event, which is the tag team match that The Rock supposedly is gonna have with Seth, Cody, and him and Roman. And then we have Drew and Seth on top of that, and the whole thing that Drew has with CM Punk and trolling on Twitter. So it's packed. We have a lot, right?
There's a lot to unpack here, my man. A lot to unpack here.
I mean, you tell me how, like, since all of this started with Cody and The Rock, like, just tell me how you been feeling about this.
Yeah, man. So this whole thing just started off so crazy. I just want to say, first off, thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting how, we've got this conversation of what may happen. I think in the past, there's a lot of wrestling time that may have been quote unquote predictable. And now with so much going on, it feels very unpredictable, which is super exciting that wrestling feels unpredictable again, for sure.
It's like The Rock said that wrestling is cool again. I gotta say that that's actually real because I felt like I was gone for at least 2 years. I think I was going in 17 and 19. Like between 16 and 20, wrestling to me was a blur. I don't remember much, but I know it was bad because I would tune in here and there and be like, what is this?
Yeah, man, I understand. I can relate to that. Yeah, my passion was gone for a while. For me, even a little bit longer. In 2013, I had stopped watching it. I was a big CM Punk fan, and it was cool to see, his whole journey and and I love the against the authority idea. I just love that. And when he left, I lost some of my passion for it, and I kind of lost it, and I didn't actually even start watching it again until this past a little bit before WrestleMania season. I have a friend who's trying to be an indie wrestler, and he kind of got me into the idea of, watching it again. And I sat there and I watched WrestleMania with him, and I was right back in it. So, it's just been exciting. This Bloodline story has been cooking. Punk back in the world, that's been cooking. LA Knight, there's just a lot of exciting new characters and faces, and old faces coming back that just make this so exciting. So, WrestleMania now with The Rock and Cody, as a kid, like, I watched Cody Rhodes, work his way through Legacy and, with Orton and DiBiase and try to find his name for himself. And, it's not like he was a jobber because, he was still, a family legacy name, but they never gave him that true spotlight. So to see him have this whole journey, and me coming back to not watching wrestling for 10 years and seeing Cody Rhodes as the main event guy, like, to me, that is just awesome. So it's really intriguing to see, honestly.
And now that you're mentioning Cody, so you were there when he won the second Royal Rumble, right?
Yes, we were in Tampa, and it was an unbelievable experience, or St. Pete specifically, unbelievable experience, seeing him point at Roman, and just an awesome experience. I'm glad that he took his match back because we saw him point at Roman, so let's talk about that.
Right? Like I was there as well, and I saw that, and I'm like, hey, it's coming. We're gonna get what we want because at the Royal Rumble, a little bit of me expected The Rock to show up, but he didn't. I thought he was going to be the number 30 entrance because, remember, he showed up at the beginning of January talking about that he wants to be the head of the table, or should he sit at the head of the table? And then we didn't hear from The Rock again until after Cody won the Royal Rumble. And at least for me, that was so out of left field how he just came at that SmackDown after we all were like, hey, we're going to get what we want. And then all of a sudden we see Cody walking away from the ring. Like, when you saw that, what were you thinking about?
So are you mentioning how on SmackDown, The Rock shook his hand and he got to like walk up the ring when he was like, quote unquote, giving him the match?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I was like so confused into the story of what was going to happen then, because the winner of the Royal Rumble gets to challenge who they want. They know he wants to finish the story. And the thing is like, I feel like people get lost. It's like, you know, even though the story is him winning the WWE title, I think like him having that crazy intense rivalry and match with Roman, it's like that is also part of the story now, which I feel like makes it more important for him to finish it against Roman.
Yeah, I'm with you right there. Like, not only did he win the Royal Rumble, and this happened to him, he's a 2-time Royal Rumble winner. Not 2-time only, back to back. And for The Rock to come in and just step in and be like, hey, move aside, buddy. And a lot of people are going to say this, that supposedly that was a work, that they were working us, that they wanted that. And you know what? I disagree with that. I really believe The Rock came in there thinking that he's still the people's champion from 20 years ago. And not to say that he's not, but not to the level that you can just walk in and take somebody's spot. That's not what the people's champion will do. Like, you're just going to come in with your power and do whatever you want and not expect the people to turn on you. At least, I mean, it was so bad that we heard Rocky sucks. And we've seen signs lately of Rocky die, Rocky die.
Oh, man. Oh, my.
Australia, we saw them in SmackDown. Like, you were seeing all of this, right?
Yeah, and we were seeing these intense, you know, and you know, the fans had passion again because, you know, it was like, you know, literally The Rock came in and quote unquote stole his match, stole his spotlight, stole his story. And, you know, The Rock, I think in his perspective, you know, it was a bigger story for him to come in and have the match with Roman. But it seems like that's what the fans wanted a few years back. And now Roman is the guy. And I think the story with Cody, you know, really elevated him even more. Like, not to say, you know, the matches of like him and Kevin Owens, match with him and Logan Paul, all the people like that he faced on his journey, I guess, throughout this tribal chief time. I think the Cody one really told the story in a way that the other ones didn't as much. Because Roman's gone through 10 to 11 people now. You know, Sami Zayn, Rollins, I think in the beginning of this tribal chiefish era. So, you know, it's exciting that Cody is in the position where he is now to finally possibly realize that. But yeah, The Rock coming in and stepping in, people were mad and they talked about it. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't think that they were working us. I think that the crowds really did, you know, what they did with Daniel Bryan years back. And they were like, yeah, this is the guy we want. We are not going to shut the hell up. And, you know, they made it a meme and turned it into Cody Crybabies. But that only happened because the crowd actually said what they wanted. And I think that was all real and authentic. You know, I feel, you know, they didn't think that was going to happen that crazy. And I think Cody basically proved, you know, the board that like, yo, like this is the guy. They really do love him that much. He needs this match.
And it makes me think, like, did The Rock not feel that Cody was this type of star? Because seriously, I have not seen a more over person since John Cena. And even John Cena was not liked by all of us for the reason that he was always, always winning. But Cody, they have set him up in a way where we're like, dude, we like this guy in every way. But even though you allow him to win matches, you don't give him the big one yet. And one time you did. Yeah, you gave him the Royal Rumble, great. He went to WrestleMania, he lost. You couldn't give him the title yet because it was, I guess, too soon, even though he's been a wrestler forever. But I guess let's give it another year. But then you arrive at this year, and now you're going to tell us, like, no, you got to wait more time? Like, what were they thinking they were going to do? Like, when Cody said, oh, I'm not going to be at WrestleMania with Roman, then what was Cody going to do at WrestleMania? He was going to go wrestle Seth Rollins? Like, what do you think was their road to WrestleMania for him?
I think if they would have done, like I say, if they really were going to do the Rollins and him, Rollins, he's beat Rollins 3 times now. I think one on the WrestleMania he came back, and then one I think in the different card. But yeah, he's won every time against him. And I know Rollins was this thing like, he had this thing before, like, I have to beat him. I remember he came on Raw and he's like, I have to beat you. I have to prove that I'm better than you. But if Cody would have, like, obviously he probably would have, he would have won that match. So if Cody would have won the match with him in Mania, I think it would have just been like, okay, well, Cody's the champ, the world heavyweight champ. Roman might have been more poking fun at the title again. And then maybe they do a champion versus champion match at SummerSlam, and Cody finally wins a big one. But now Cody has both titles, and that takes away from someone else being champ there, someone else being champ there. It would just been confusing. Like, I like that the championships are separate. When they unify them, I feel like it's just always so confusing. So I like that, okay, over here, Rollins is making the name for the World Heavyweight, and then over there on SmackDown, he's running the Universal. So, if Cody does beat him at Mania, I don't know if he goes to SmackDown or he stays on Raw or what happens there, but it feels like the Universal is like the SmackDown title, even though it's like the WWE title right now, just because Roman's there mostly. And then Raw is like the World Heavyweight title, which makes sense because Raw is Monday every week, and it just brings like the workhorse champion thing, like, Seth said. So I think, yeah, they gotta probably backtrack on a lot of the things that they were gonna do because of the way the audience reacted. But that's the most genuine thing in the world, when the audience is like, hey, this is how we feel.
And I'm glad that it went that way. I mean, maybe they didn't think it was gonna go that way, but I would say since the last 30 days and until WrestleMania, I don't know what's gonna happen. I really do not know. I just expect what is going to happen. And one thing that I expect is for Cody to win it finally, because you cannot have the 2-time Royal Rumble winner not win it. Even though right now we're in the situation where, like, how is this going to go down? We don't know what's going to happen. And there's still that fear in me that they still may not pull the trigger and allow him to win it. They could still do something with it. They're going to make him be like, you still couldn't get it done for whatever reason. And that, even though we're in the situation, like you say, wrestling is cool, unpredictable, we don't know what's going to happen. Cody has to get this. Even we don't know how it's going to play out, but he has to get it. And going back to SmackDown from last week, when The Rock issued a challenge answering to Cody and letting him know, hey, you're not going to go one-on-one with The Rock. Well, we can do a tag team match. And then he put some things on the line. And for a minute there, I thought one of the things he was going to say was, if you lose, you will not have a match on 9-2. And I'm glad that wasn't it. And it was more like, hey, if you lose, we're going to make it even more difficult for you to win it. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? Most likely they're losing the tag match. And most likely Seth Rollins turns on Cody at that point, maybe. I don't know. Do you think he's turning at that point? Because I do not want him turning to cost Cody the title.
Yeah, so you know what's so crazy today? I was on Twitter, and this is like the same topic that you're saying. People were saying, what if the original plan, like it wasn't the plan because they didn't do it, but what if Randy Orton was stepping in for the story and it made more sense because Randy Orton and him with the legacy. But people are saying because Randy's like a really good guy right now, people love that he's here and like he's back and everything, so they don't want to turn him heel. People are saying if Rollins was the guy that they could turn him heel, then it would make sense at Mania. But it depends if he loses Drew. I don't know if Drew and him is night 1 or night 2 at this point, but if he loses to Drew, if it's planned that he's gonna lose to Drew, then I think it would make sense for him to do it. But if he's gonna beat Drew, then I don't think it makes sense for him to do it.
Right. And at least to me, I feel like I think Seth freaking Rollins has run his course. That character, I don't even like his name. It's like Seth freaking Rollins. I find it a little corny, like the freaking part. But I'm probably one of the few that feels that way. But I feel like he needs to go down a path where he's gonna turn heel. Because when you look at it, this whole thing about Seth, it looks like nobody respects him. Like Roman doesn't respect him. The Rock doesn't respect him. Cody beat him like 1,000 times. Roman is calling him a bum. He called him the loser title. So why would you still be a good guy after all that?
If he turned, I think if Rollins, the Rollins heel era right now would be really, really hot. I think he could really make that shit work. Because they're all just like tarnishing his name now, and I think he needs to fight back on that. I'm kind of like 50-50. I've never been like a huge Rollins guy or not a huge Rollins guy, but I do respect the hell out of what he's done as a champion, and I do 100% respect everything that he's done. So it's like, I think him doing the workhorse champion thing, him proving what he feels, him turning heel would be good. But it's just Drew is a little bit of a bigger heel right now. So if he wins the title at Mania, which I think he is, the crowd's still going to cheer for Rollins. So it also doesn't make sense for him to really turn on Cody. I think they should just lose. If they do lose, they're probably going to lose cleanly to Roman and The Rock. Well, maybe not cleanly, but bloodline, whatever. They're going to lose to The Rock and Roman. And Cody will probably take the pin. So people will think he's going to probably lose the night after for night 2. Whole time that kid ain't losing, man. And he's winning it this time. I think he's winning it.
But look at Drew though. Drew is a heel, but people like him. And the way that he's doing it, he's very entertaining. So when I see Drew, I know he's a bad guy. But I don't think that I can boo him. Like when he says something, we can be like, oh, what
anti-hero. That's the anti-hero.
Yeah, like he I don't know if you saw the video today on Twitter. He's coming out of the arena and the people are telling him that they want broken dreams, and they started chanting CM Punk. And what did he do? He put the CM Punk music on his car right away.
In his car is driving. I saw that. You said that to me. I was like, no way. This dude is doing that.
That was golden. That was fantastic. And he's doing heel things, but at the same time, it's like, you're more, like you said, he's an anti-hero at this point. And I think wrestling has been evolving or has to evolve, but just good guy and bad guy. You gotta have like a middle guy. And I think Drew is one of the best work that he's done in a while.
Yeah, man, he's winning right now, and he figured out the social media game. That was a big thing, because in this day and age, it does matter. Like you can be on Twitter and you can connect with fans and say anything, and the fans would be like, "Oh, Drew McIntyre just said this. CM Punk just said this. Eddie Kingston just said that. You know what I mean? It's like, this is the modern day. So it's like, if you're a wrestler and you already have a big name, you can use social media to your advantage. You can actually really form your character into something, like you can really connect with the audience,
And he's doing it like, so he has his fans. He does. And I believe he's going to get the world title. Because at the end of the day, Seth Rollins was saying that he's won the title at WrestleMania, but he's never walked in with it. So what happens this time? You walked in and you lose it. And it's time for Drew to get it. Drew has been trying to be champion again for a while. And remember, he got done dirty at Clash of the... At that paper.
Clash of the Castle. Clash of the Castle. That's a tongue twister there.
That one. And I was watching that match.
Man, he never got his Mania. He's made it into a story, if you've been following these last months, as we all have, that he's never won the title at Mania in front of fans. He's never had the fans be there and get to experience that. So, I think that they want that for him, and he made that into his character, But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Seth Rollins is kind of like the golden guy right now outside of Cody, just still from everything that he's done and just being relevant in there. So I just don't know if they're going to cleanly take it off of him at Mania, and maybe they'll throw us off and something will happen and Drew won't win it and he'll turn into a madman and eventually get the title maybe by SummerSlam. But I just think the time to pull a trig on Drew is now. The time to pull the trig on Roman or to lose to Cody is now, and the time to pull Bayley to beat Io Sky probably is now.
All of those changes, they have to do it now, and I feel like it's getting very dramatic with it. Like, you've seen The Rock on SmackDown and all of this, and when he does the whole thing with the hand, and then he's putting like an L and a 1, and then you have Paul Heyman looking at him weird. And then Roman he was feeling frustrated this last SmackDown.
And yeah, his facial expressions told the whole story right there. It was great.
Yeah. Is he getting like annoyed of The Rock? And that's why he asked him, hey, acknowledge me. I feel like you're taking it from me. But I don't think they're going to get there yet. I think they're just going to put some clues. And on that night, on the last match at WrestleMania, maybe finally The Rock turns on Roman, but you never know what might happen in Philadelphia. Like, you never know if the crowd, for some weird reason, cheers Roman. Who knows? Do you see something like that going down?
Man, I don't know. Well, what we can talk about right now is you're talking about the crowd. On Monday Night Raw, some of them started chanting Rocky, Rocky. So, this crowd turn of like not really keeping the same energy that they have is something that I'm really like falling like not fond of. I'm like, you guys were sharing Rocky sucks, but now we got the match, so it's like Rocky's okay. Like, no, like he's trying to feed into the heel. He's trying to be that bad guy. So when half the audience is still cheering for him, it's so confusing. I'm like, this is what y'all wanted? Like, I'm still on the same energy. Like, hashtag we want Cody. Like, yeah, Dwayne, you're a loser right now. Like, yeah, like, give me that. Give me heel Rock. Tell me they're all crackheads. Like, I'm liking that, man. I'm liking that he's digging into what it's entertaining. It's more entertaining than him feeding into the crowds that love him just because he's who he is. Because we all, as wrestling fans who have been, watching this sport for however long, we totally feel that all these guys who are working their ass off, the Sami Zayns, the Kevin Owens, the Seth Rollins, the Cody Rhodes, all these guys are these workhorse guys who are busting their ass day in and day out. SmackDown, Raw, you need to be at NXT, they're there. Those guys deserve, obviously, the chance to be in the spotlight and get those main event spots, no matter what, because they're grinding their ass off for it. Drew McIntyre, for sure. Sorry to include him the first time. So it's like, for Rock to come in and step in because of who he is, he knows that there's people who are mad about it, but he knows he's worked his ass off. There was a time he had $7 in his pocket. We've heard this story before, but it's been a while since you had $7 in your pocket, Rock, like Cody's just said on Raw.
Yeah, and it's just time for the current guys to, keep going to the next level. And I think that we have more talent coming up, but right now we need to allow these guys that are so over, like Cody and Drew, to get theirs, and even maybe Sammy, but that's a different topic. But the guys that are there, they need to keep growing, and I think the next step for Cody is to win that title. I think some people think that if he wins it, that it's over, that people won't care. But no, another chapter starts. He may lose that title in a month. Who knows? Maybe they're not going back to the whole 1 year you hold the title. Like, we don't know what's going to happen after. Like, let's assume, and I hope that does not happen. Cody wins the title and then loses it to Damian Priest. I hope it doesn't go. I don't think they're even thinking about that. But imagine something like that happens. All of a sudden, they're going to say, yeah, we got what we wanted. But at the same time, they took it from us so fast in a day or even 30 days. Like, Cody has to go with that title about 3 to 4 months to feel like, hey, you beat Roman and you kept this title. Is he going to get a year with that title? Probably not. We have a lot of talent, so I don't see it happening. But I do see some turns happening here, a lot of drama, and more entertaining segments coming up, and things that are not predictable will start happening soon or at WrestleMania, I would say, or after.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. Like, I do agree with you in the sense of, like, titles change hands fast. It can be, more okay, more exciting, but it's like, Roman had this huge long reign, so it's like, we're getting it to Cody and then him lose it 5 seconds later. So it's like, it's I don't know what if he does win. I would like to see them have him feud with The Rock and Roman and just keep the story going, but just have Cody as champion. Like, let it, like, there's so much of the story to explore more. Because if Cody wins the WrestleMania, which I think he will, you could have Roman get his immediate rematch for whatever the next pay-per-view is. Like, it could be, I don't know, they don't do Backlash anymore. What's the pay-per-view right after Mania now?
No, they're doing Backlash, I believe, in Europe this year.
They're doing Backlash. Okay. Well, whenever the pay-per-view after Mania is, like, you can still have a pay-per-view like that and do a big card and, like, have Cody versus Roman in Saudi Arabia for the title back or like wherever, because they've been doing a lot of Saudi Arabia ones. Like, they can do another big event. It's like, I just think that I hope that they believe that they can keep following the story great with Cody as champion, and they don't fall back on what they got them there and just, okay, we'll keep him as champion so we have more to tell in the story. Like, Paul Heyman may have said whatever so long, a few months ago, hey, we're just in the third inning or whatever. But now I think we're in like the 6th or 7th inning. So, I'd hope that, the 8th inning is WrestleMania and Cody wins it, and the 9th inning is everything that follows the SummerSlam. Because, Cody's going to face The Rock in a one-on-one match. They're building that slowly but surely. At the same time that they're building the Roman versus Rock. Roman showed that he was a little bit annoyed at The Rock getting the spotlight. They showed that storyline. But The Rock did acknowledge him when Roman asked him to, and that gave Roman's approval for the moment. So I see them riding that out, the story, as long as possible. I just hope that they can do it with Cody as champion, and they believe that.
If The Rock turns and he betrays Roman, that match may not happen for a minute with Cody. And, if Cody wins that title, WWE rolled themselves into a corner a little bit with how they've been doing all these reigns. Like, Io Sky has had that title for a while, Seth Rollins, obviously Roman, Gunther. So now, for the last couple of years, you have shown me that people can hold the title this long, right? And here you have Cody that has barely gotten pinned since he came back, and he's beating your current World Heavyweight Champion like 3 times already. And he almost had your guy Roman beat. So if Cody wins that title, how long WWE is going to keep the title on him? Because not even 4 months would be like, yeah, I don't think that's good enough, because you have shown me that all these other guys that are not as over as Cody have had it that long. So what would they take it away in months? So I think Cody may have to go like a whole year with it after he's gone 2 years barely getting pinned. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, I think once he wins it, they're gonna have him, have that for a little bit. So and I want to see that for him. So I just hope that they know what to follow up with everything. And like I said, the only thing I could think of is they're like, well, if we have to give it for him for a while, how do we follow up for a year of him being champion? I hope that they really thought that out, and then they find a way to do that. Because like I said, I can see them going completely soft and completely throwing us all off guard, letting Roman win again. And then I just don't know what. I just feel like people will be less invested into where Cody goes with the story if they don't pull the trigger now. Like the crowd just chanted for him to have the match at Mania and completely shifted The Rock and Roman from ever happening, which we all understand at this point, the biggest match of the century. So, you know what I mean? It happened because Cody was that guy. So if they don't pull trigger now, there's no way that people aren't going to be as invested, into where he goes from there. It's definitely going to lose some of its momentum. And Cody knows that. And I hope he's telling the WWE guys that because, it's his time. I think it's his time.
I think they are forced at the moment to give him the title because they saw how the crowd reacted when he didn't even get a match. Imagine if he doesn't get it. And like I said before, the little bit of fear that I have is that these people are thinking we want Roman to pass Hogan on that list. And Hogan can be in the ring with Roman when he does that and have a segment. And I hope they're not thinking about that. I hope that they're thinking about the current guy that is the guy right now. And being number 4th on that list is awesome. Like, leave Hogan alone. He was one of your best guys back in the day. He's been around forever. He did a great for wrestling. So at this point, just think about what's in front of you. Yeah, it would have been great for Roman to get it, sure. But he's not going to be number 2, and he's not going to be number 1. So leave him at 4th. The 4th all the time, that's pretty good, I will say. And just because you want to get him to a 3rd spot, like that, I really hope they're not thinking that. Because, like I said, the crowd, they went wild when they almost didn't get the main event that they were expecting. The last time that happened was Daniel Bryan. But this one feels like it was heavier. Like there was Twitter, there was the TV, then the whole turning on The Rock. And while the people turn on The Rock, the minute that he gave up the spot, at least, myself, I'm like, okay, Rock, now you can play the heel, but I don't personally dislike you for coming in and just, using your power. Now I just have to boo you because you are a heel. And that's fine. And in that way, The Rock will not be able to be a heel for long. Like, he can say whatever he wants to the crowd. They're going to laugh. I'm going to laugh. Do I criticize him for always saying the same thing? Yes. But the last promo that he did, that wasn't bad. He's almost there. And the way that he's starting to dress, I see that he's putting some work. And hopefully he can keep going because he also needs work.
Well, people are mad at Seth Rollins for calling him Diarrhea Dwayne, not saying like Dwayne wouldn't have said the same thing like that.
He will say the same thing. Like, Dwayne said Fruity Pebbles.
That wasn't bad.
Like,
and nothing, and I mean nothing, will ever top suffering Sakatosh. And Roman, dear God, man, he's come such a long way, dude. Because that was so cringe, and we all thought it was cringe, and I don't know who wrote that. I don't think it was him.
these days,
different days, and he is the tribal chief now. So it's like, that just shows as a wrestler, I would say, like, as people in this, business who talk about however far they get and whatnot, like, that just shows, like, never give up because, I think these guys who can take, and I know, like, And a lot of times in like WWE, you know, there's a lot of people involved in the process of everything. So it's like, you know, sometimes these guys got to take what they can get and go out there and make it great. And a lot of these guys who can go out there and make it great, they can make it great. John Cena was like, yo, I'm going to rap on the back of the bus. Stephanie McMahon heard it. Next thing you know, he's rapping on TV. Now we got John Cena. So, you know, I don't think it's unrecoverable or anything like that, and like stupid moments or whatever. But point being, Seth Rollins saying diarrhea Dwayne, I think The Rock would say something like that, and he said Fruity Pebbles and called John Cena poop or whatever. So, I think Seth Rollins is just fine, but the internet is burning him right now for that. So I don't know why.
It's just because, you know, people see The Rock, oh, he's cool, and everything that comes out of his mouth, people are gonna eat it. I'm not gonna eat it. I will see through him. But diarrhea Dwayne, I'll take it. It's fine. The Rock will say something similar. And when Seth said it, I'm like, not the best comeback, but will The Rock say something like that? Yeah. And Seth is going where I'm going, like saying, that's not The Rock, that's Dwayne Johnson, and he's just diarrhea. And that's fine. Like, everybody wants to get on Seth Rollins for that. Like, okay, tell me what else could he have said there that wouldn't make it better. Like, Seth Rollins is not known for those best comebacks anyways. He's a dude that talks a lot. Sometimes he does deliver some good promos, but sometimes he goes out there and he just japs. Hey, he's a nice dude and I like him. But sometimes the promos is not the best, but this is what we're gonna pick up on this. Diarrhea Dwayne, get out of here, man.
Well, I will say though that his promos the week before that, his promos has been cooking. And I like that they're gonna have this Rollins and Cody and Romans versus The Rock face off on SmackDown. Should be a lot of cooking going. So, you know, I think the more talents in the ring, the more it elevates everyone. And I just love, this back and forth banter. And I like that he's playing the Cody's Robin to the Batman scenario. Like, I think he's doing good. I think he's doing great. I just think that the tag team match is something that is different. That's going to throw the different element to the WrestleMania and everything. But, you know, I do think them together all in the ring is going to be some good cooking. Because, they're just kind of like going back and forth and saying what they think to each other from a distance now. When they're in the ring and everything, I think Seth Rollins will get a chance to cook Roman back.
But it's time for them to grow.
He's got to cook them all back, though. They've been trying to cook him. He needs to cook on them all now.
Yeah, and Cody needs to, like, hit The Rock or something. It's time for them to, like, go at it a little bit. Because we're getting close already to WrestleMania.
Let them brawl in the ring on Friday.
Yeah, it's exactly a month away. Like, it's time for them to, exchange a couple of punches here and there. And eventually The Raw needs to go to Raw. At least once.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing for a week, like, I get why they're doing it. They want people to keep watching. But, hey, we're going to watch regardless. And we don't need any more. Like, we're invested right now. I'm not going to just not watch Raw because,
we're all locked in, boys.
We're locked in. Like, I'm going to WrestleMania. I don't even live in Philadelphia, so I'm flying over there. So I'm paying for that. I'm paying for the hotel. I'm paying for very expensive tickets. Plus, on top of that, I might even go to SmackDown over there. And on top of that, the merchandise. Tell me we're not invested here. And we went to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, man, he's a fan.
At least myself, I spent more money in the last year in wrestling than ever before. And I go all the way back to 99 when I was a kid.
This guy podcasting BO night. This guy's invested. This guy's got belts. This guy's got the whole shebang. I'm just the guy. I don't got any of that, but I am just as invested. I promise.
What are you talking about?
But I am so Philly.
You were wearing a Royal Rumble football shirt. That looked really good. I didn't get it.
Royal Rumble chat. They had a Royal Rumble Royal Rumble jerseys that said it looked kind of like a Tampa Bay Bucks jersey, which is the team that plays right near where that is. So dope. One of the awesomest merch I've ever seen at a show. And fun fact, I haven't been to a live event in probably like 5-6 years. Like I said, Sean, I stopped watching this for a while. So I'm recently back in. But yeah, being in a live event again was awesome. So back to The Rock though. What if at WrestleMania The Rock comes out and we hear the Hollywood Rock theme song?
That would be interesting. I think
The Rock says,
I think he won't have that theme. If he changes, it will be a remix of that one. Because right now I see The Rock not as Hollywood Rock, like we saw him in 2003. I'm thinking more like Hollywood corporate Rock, because now he's from Hollywood and now he's the boss as well.
Corporate Rock.
So Hollywood corporate Rock is what we have.
Yeah, we need that theme song he had before just fit him more now, because it's simple. The Rock says, "Know your damn role," and it's like he's like, okay, like put these people in their place. Rollins, Cody, I'm gonna come in and screw all this up. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense for him to have that theme song again. So it just somehow is just so like upbeat. Like I like that he tells the crowd, "You can't do it if you smell with me anymore. You don't deserve to do that anymore," because he did that in whatever 03, 04 when he turned heel.
Yeah, but you notice on the last SmackDown when he came out, the sign on the screen, the bull, his eyes were red. They were never red before. So he's slightly changing a couple of things here and there.
Yeah, the red. That's right.
Yeah, that wasn't there before, and I caught it the minute that he came out. I'm like, those eyes were not like that before. So it looks like he's working on the Rock character. It looks like it. You know, I'm glad that he's not going out there anymore on like a t-shirt or a tank top. Now he's wearing like these shirts or vests that resemble like the Rock 2000. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's ever gonna have a promo like that, but it looks like he's putting in some work. Because realistically, before it was like, dude, come on, what are you doing? But yeah, whatever goes down at WrestleMania, the one thing that really needs to go down is Cody winning that title. Because I need a picture of him there with holding that title. I'm going to print that out in the not in a paper. In a canvas. And
so what? He's supposed to be there on Thursday for that WrestleMania Access thing, or the WrestleMania? I call it WrestleMania Access. I remember it used to be back in my day.
Yeah,
I never went to WrestleMania, but I just remember they just always call it WrestleMania Access. But at WrestleMania World, Cody's supposed to be there on Thursday, right?
Yeah, I would not be able to make it to that one. I'll be there. I'll be landing the next day, so I'll be missing that for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. I think it's cool he's gonna be down there interacting with fans.
Yep. Yeah, it's got this WrestleMania. I gotta say, is one of the biggest one. I won't say it's the biggest ever, but the biggest so far, for sure. We don't know what we're gonna get in the future, but right now it's looking to be one of those that.
By the way, everyone, I'm from Philadelphia, so WrestleMania being in Philly is unbelievable.
And you know the fans over there are not going to disappoint. Plus, the people that are flying in from all over the world. So it should be insane, the energy in there, right?
Yeah. Philadelphia crowds are unbelievable. Lincoln Financial Field is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. Go Birds. That is an unbelievable stadium, and the fans are louder than you could ever imagine. Philadelphia fans, we are crazy. We are unpredictable. We are a specimen of the human nature. We are electric. WrestleMania in Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field. You are not going to get more electric than that.
I believe it. I've seen Philadelphia boo Roman Reigns, win the Rock next to him, and I've seen Philadelphia be very loud in baseball games. So, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the home of ECW.
Yes, the home of ECW. Paul Heyman will be indicted, or I'm sorry, indicted. Paul Heyman will be inducted into the Hall of Fame in Philadelphia, where ECW started, which is his own thing that he had started.
Right? How can I get any better for him? So everything's lining up.
I think that's going to be incredible for him. I'm so happy that he's going to have that moment. You know, the bloodline stuff is cooking right now, so he's doing his best work. But I'm glad that they're acknowledging him now while this is still very hot, so he can get his moment and the crowd can really, really take it in.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, Paul Heyman is one of the best managers ever. For me, he's number one, I will say. I'm pretty sure they're having others that are better in different times. But as I go back with Paul Heyman, for years, the way that he speaks, the way that he carries himself, the only thing that Paul Heyman did not have was a wrestling body.
Mic skills, undeniable. That guy can tell a story better than even some wrestlers can.
Agreed. I agree. But yeah, so we're almost at the end of this. I think everybody knows who we're rooting for at WrestleMania. It's got to be Cody.
I will be really shocked, man, if he does not. I would be really, really shocked.
I will be too. It. Hey, I'm totally invested. I'll be there both nights. I'm going thinking that I'm going to be there when this man wins his first WWE Championship. And we all know that this guy, if he wins it, he's going to cry. The minute that he wins it, he's going to cry.
Yes, I hope that he finally finishes his story, man.
All right. So we'll come at the end of this podcast, and you'll see us again.
Sounds good, man. Moss is out.
I'll see everybody next time.